Hello.
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm good. I've just came back from some Christmas markets in Glasgow with my family, so I've got my pajamas on and I've got a glass of prosecco, and it's a Friday night. It's 9 o'clock on a Friday night.
Very good. Yes. So thank you for taking the time away from your family and doing this so late where you are. But I'm with Janine from the band Vukovi from Scotland.
Yes,
Very cool. Well, like I said, thanks for doing this. And you got a new album coming out
we do.
in January 24th, right? My
Yes,
my God has got a gun.
yes.
Um, I've had the pleasure to hear it already.
Oh, good.
I got
I
an
never.
advanced.
I've had a couple of people that haven't heard it, like I saw it, but then I've had some that have said they have. So I feel like it's a totally different conversation when they've heard it.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's three songs off of that upcoming album that are available now streaming. Gung Ho, Misty Ecstasy, and Snow, correct?
Yeah.
Uh, all great songs. I mean, I think one of my personal favorites that, people in the world haven't heard yet is the title track from that album.
Okay.
I
I'm
don't know
glad.
why. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's really good. It's
Yeah, it's a mad song, but like it's very us. And I feel like with this album in particular, we did sort of go in to it with an attitude of like we're just gonna fucking do what we want. Like let's just write what we want to write, what connects with us, and try not think too much about expectation or trends or I don't know. Like it's such a hard factor. I think being an artist, like trying to shut all that out.
it's got to be a struggle, right? Like you're trying, like you have these things that you create and they're like very meaningful to you and you hope it has an impact on those who listen to it, right? And it's like, what if they don't?
Scary, exactly, exactly. They might not like it. That's what's so scary about it. And I think like you could agonize over what singles you're going to release, but at the end of the day, like it's the fans, it's the people, it's the public that pick
Yeah.
what songs resonate. We can't control that. You can pump loads of money into advertisement and throwing songs down people's throats, but if it doesn't connect, it doesn't connect.
Yeah.
So I think we've we've just tried, like I think with all the records that we've done, we create something and we put it out, and we just have faith that it's going to connect with people, and what it will be will be.
How do you feel about this new record?
Um, I love it. Like I'm really proud of it, but I'm also terrified of the thought of it being out in the public. Like it's only been the past couple of weeks that we've started having interviews and podcasts and a lot of press. And I think it's like almost, I felt it's shone a light on us almost. Like people are asking questions about the album. They want to know. Like, and I'm like, oh fuck, like I actually have to talk about this. It was a painful process. It was very cathartic and terrifying because we were out our comfort zone. We went to Texas. We'd never been to America before. We'd never worked with Machine, but there was just something in us. It was like let's get outside our comfort zone. Let's really push the boat out and see what happens. Um, but yeah, I think it doesn't. I think you can be as confident in the world and be like, I'm really proud of this album, what we like. But there's always that element of you. It's like, what if no one likes it? Like pure terrified
Well,
vulnerability.
I don't think that's possible. I mean, you have one fan at least in me, so.
Thanks, thanks.
But you did it at the machine shop in Texas. That was your first trip to the US?
Yeah, as the band, yeah,
Yeah, what was that like?
it was great. Like it was scary at first, and it obviously takes you a couple of days to sort of relax and you know get acclimatized to the Texas heat. Since we're from Scotland, it's freezing here. Um, but yeah, it was a wonderful experience, and we really bonded with Machine and Martin, our drummer. Like he was out with us as well, and it was just such a lovely experience. And we really felt that Machine just knows how to pick the best bits out of a person
Hmm.
and really like fine tune and I guess like give you that confidence to just go for it.
How was it different from your previous records? Because I mean, like it is so important having producers and things like that. Like you said, they really like really good ones know how to pick certain things and kind of say, oh wait, you know what? Do what you just did, but do it a little bit differently this way, or whatever that might be. Like, so what was that like working on this record compared to maybe the previous ones?
The previous ones we were um, it was sort of not it wasn't we didn't record them in like one big block. So like this record we did 2 weeks and then we've toured and then we came back for 2 weeks. Whereas every album before we've done it in stages. Like we've maybe went into the studio for a couple of days, did 2 songs or 3 songs, and then waited another month and then came back in. So there was always a bit of space. Whereas this one, it was like we're immersing ourselves in the whole process, and I, I mean, I like both. I like doing both, and I also love working with Bruce, who's one of our best friends as well. And I think like I just felt like we wanted to shake things up a bit and try something new. And I think with every record we do like to rebrand, and we do like to work with new people. And yeah, I just we don't like staying in the same spot. We're always evolving as people, so like why wouldn't our music evolve? And we just want to try different things and see what happens. I think you're not going to take risks, then what's the point?
Well, that's the whole purpose, right? Like I hate when people when a band will create something new, like a new record or whatever it might be, like, oh, it doesn't sound like their old stuff or whatever it might be. And it's like, why would you expect it to? Like, these are artists, these are creative
Yeah,
people. Like, why keep doing the same thing over and over again? Like, and why are you mad about that?
yeah, yeah. It's funny because like I feel like I've got the most faith in our fans. Like I think, and this isn't. I guess this is current fans. It's not like gaining new fans, but I think with our current fans, I feel like they're just so accepting of what we do, and they connect with it. Like it doesn't. I feel like they're not going to be like, oh, this isn't another Nula album or another debut album. Or I think they are moving with us and they're evolving with us, and they kind of love us for that.
Yeah. So, my listeners, my viewers, things like that, like, what would you describe Vukovi as? How would you describe the band and the music?
That's really hard
Oh, come
question.
on. I mean,
Um,
it's heavy, right? Um,
well, yeah,
kinda,
it's like
kinda.
it is like there's like it's quite extreme. Like there's some extreme metal, death metal riffs,
Hmm.
and you can have some really light trance middle eights or ballads, sort of big ballad sections. Although we've got math tech stuff, like there is a lot, and it's so hard. I think it's always been quite hard to pinpoint where we belong. It's like, are we metal? Are we rock? Are we pop? Like what are we? Indie?
Yeah,
It's hard to. So
yeah.
what? So, someone asked me a question about like what genre do you think we are, and I was like, I just made up something for a laugh, but I was like, sex, horror, riff pop.
Well, it's funny to say that. Because Gung Ho,
Yeah,
amazing song, but the video is creepy as fuck.
Do you think it's creepy?
Well, so the white masks scare the
Yeah.
shit out of me. I hate masks. Like that scares me.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm so that like I think with our videos, I usually love to have like a sort of an unsettling undertone.
Hmm.
So it's not obvious horror, but there's just something about it when you're like, there's something that feels off about this, but I can't quite put my finger on it. And the
Yeah.
mask was sort of I wanted that sort of anonymity, just creepiness.
Yeah. No,
Um,
you nailed it.
it's yeah, I mean the big face and the big mouth and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I hate masks because it's like it's a constant expression. So I can't tell, you know, what the person behind the mask
so
is.
you can't read their body language or their
No.
well facial expressions. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
guess never thought about that.
Yeah, it's terrifying for me.
I know, yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah. Well, and talk about that song too. I saw a video on your Instagram. You were talking about the true meaning of that song. Um, and I wasn't expecting what what you.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of folk that were quite surprised with it.
Yeah, but um, you don't want to get into it.
Well, I think I think this record for me, there's been a lot of aspects of like, well, I was going through some pretty intense therapy at the time, and I think anyone that's been through therapy, you're so up and down, and I think you lose touch of your reality because you're almost bringing things up from the past that you didn't want to talk about or think about or face. But also the positive side of that, there's positive elements in this album in terms of sexual empowerment and feeling free and confident and knowing that you deserve to be desired and there's no shame around that. And I just thought Gung Ho was a bit tongue in cheek. It's like um, I like the idea of being in control of your own dreams and like um, yeah, I like a concept behind a song as well because I think the listener can escape a bit more
Hmm.
into the concept. You can you can read between the lines of a concept and take a bigger meaning from it if you want. But I like the fun in concepts and gods and fairy tales and folklore.
Right. Would you say a lot of your songs are kind of like that, like
Yeah,
based
I
on
would
that
say
stuff?
so. Yeah, definitely. Like I love the kind of gothic style poetry and fables and yeah, I love I'm a big fan of fantasy and sci-fi and whatnot and yeah, I think that I guess there is actually always an element of that in our music, and I guess you could look at it both ways. It's for the the viewer to like. I guess there's an extra layer of interest of having a concept, but it's also something good to hide behind as
Hmm.
well. Um, Feels much more of a safer space when you're expressing through a concept or a theme
Hmm.
or a character.
Would is therapy something you would recommend?
100%.
Yeah.
Like you have to stick at it though. Like I think I got 12 sessions and I painted 12 pieces after every session because that was my way of maybe like processing the session without having to talk to anybody, or I just could just do it on paint in a paintbrush, like. And then it was actually Hamish that was like, "We should use these for the album artwork. Like, it sort of ties in with everything. Like, it's real."
Yeah.
which is quite scary because I was like, art is very subjective. People can look at a piece of art and be like, that is the worst thing I've ever seen. And someone else would be like, this is beautiful. This
Yeah,
means something to me. So, and it's releasing another side of vulnerability
right.
as well.
Well, I feel like a lot of your life is um subjective. Everything you do, everything and arts in general, right? Music, painting, all that kind of stuff. It's like a very, very vulnerable thing.
Massively. Like I think like I've only realised how terrifying it is. I didn't really figure out the consequences. So like when back in May when we were in Texas and we were doing the record, like I was excited and it was exhausting and it was emotionally exhausting because we're singing about things that are deep and meaningful and the it was I guess an element of journaling when I was going through a shit time and it's it's not until now when the record's nearly coming out and there's songs coming out and people are asking me questions about it and they want to know the bigger picture and I'm like, oh shit, like it's a lot to put out there. And I guess I'm a bit like you just get a bit scared at first because you're like, oh my god, like I've put a lot out there or it's a lot of dark themes and very honest and raw themes. But I think with this record, again, I was like, I'm not gonna fucking paint over how I feel right now. Like, there's too many people that mask. I've masked it for years, like certain, OCD or anxiety. And, it's like a lot. I know most people are like that, and I just wanted this album to just be like, I'm not masking this. Like, I just need to be brutally honest,
Hmm.
and if people can connect to that, and at least if they're going through therapy or even thinking about it or just going through a time and I just hope the honesty and the torture of being up and down and you lose track of reality. I think when you're going through therapy, it sort of gets worse before it gets better and um I just I for me I was this is real and it's coming from a real human, a real soul, and someone that's trying to heal and trying to give themselves a life that they deserve. Everyone deserves to be happy. Everyone deserves to be loved and heard. And I just, that's really it. Like that, there's no other like big plan behind this album. Like there is a concept to it, but that's for the fans to that's what for people to figure out and relate to it.
Yeah. And
Um,
I'd have to imagine too, like, we talked about art and creativity, like that has to be a form of therapy for you as well.
Absolutely, yeah, like that it has been since Vukovi started. That was my gateway of release. Um, and yeah, I think it is a two-way street. Like it helps me, and I know that it helps other people, and as much as it feels scary and vulnerable at the time, I feel proud of myself
It should.
for sharing it and just speaking up about it and not being ashamed. Um, it's none of my business what people think of me. So it's like if you don't connect with it, you don't connect with it.
Hmm.
That's fine. I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
No.
But yeah.
And how, I mean, how do your fans relate to you? I mean, as someone who creates this music and it's an outlet for you and things like that. I'm sure, and you say like you talk about it and you need to because there's people going through the same things that you've gone through. So it's
Yeah.
important, right? Like, so how, when you're interacting with your fans, like, how do they kind of perceive you and how do they relate to your stuff?
I mean, I don't know how they perceive me. Like that's hard to think about. Um, because perception, again, it's so subjective. Like someone's perception of me can be completely different to someone else's, and my perception of myself is totally different to what other people think. But I just, the common theme with a lot of people is that we are helping them, and it's made people not feel as alone, and just feel heard.
Hmm.
Just be like, this is exactly how I feel. I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I can talk about this. If she can talk about it, I can talk about it.
And how does that make you feel when you see someone connect like that?
It's pretty magical, but I think I sometimes disassociate. Um, if I think about it too much, there's a lot of pressure just comes on my shoulders. I feel like I overthink everything if I think about it too much.
Right.
But it keeps us going.
Yeah.
That's like why, like that for me is like enough of a reason to do this,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
changing people's lives.
yeah. And I talk about this a lot. Like I strongly believe that, there's certain people that they're put on this earth to do certain things. And, musicians, like, it's like a calling, right? Like it's like this is what you're meant to do. And it's so deep. It has so many layers. It's therapeutic for you. It gives you a sense of purpose. But even with all that, like it does so much more for other people and like thousands of people, millions of people. That's like really special.
It's like, yeah, I think that's it. Like I think when it is getting to a point in a song and I'm like, fuck, this is really deep. This is really honest. It's a bit brutal, but that's life. Like life is fucked.
Yeah.
I think like there's so many people, especially with social media now, like the perception that people try and paint of themselves is just exhausting.
Hmm.
And I just sometimes want to be like, it's totally fine, by the way, just to not give a fuck and just be yourself. Like it's trying not to, I don't know, like hide in the like mental illness or mental health and anxiety. It's trying not to just put it into the shadows and paint over it and be like everything's fine. Everyone else is coping. I don't seem to be coping. Like it's a load of bullshit. Like I think,
Yeah, I think social media, like, it's such a great thing because it helps us connect. But I know people who are different people, like face to face, than they are on their online persona. And I don't get that. Like, that bothers me. It's like, why are you two different people?
yeah,
And I don't know if it's because, like, you talk about, beauty influencers or fitness influencers or all these different things. Like, and you meet them in person, it's like you're not the same person you are online. It's weird.
yeah. I guess though, like if your job is to be an influencer, like that's fine if you want to separate, the two different, your work persona and your real life persona. Like I'm not, I think that's fine. I think that's great. But I guess it's the message. Like if you're trying to portray a message that you don't fully believe in, then I think people aren't stupid. They see through it.
Yeah.
Like as long as you believe, genuinely believe in the message or who you are or what you want to influence, then fair play.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think the false sense of perfection that comes from social media it really fucks with my head as well. Like even just doom scrolling for a couple hours, I'm like I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Like I don't. It's going back to this. I don't know what reality is anymore.
Yeah.
It's lose touch of reality being on social media all the time.
Yeah. I
And
wish it didn't exist, to be honest.
it's just gone too far now. It's painful.
It's scary. I mean, I have two kids that I have to like they're too way too young for social media right now, but like it scares me to think about, where that will be, when they come to the age where, they're going to be using it.
That's so. What age do you think someone should start using social
Oh,
media?
that's a
Because I couldn't. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
it's so hard, right? It's like as a parent too, like if you have a kid and all their friends are,
yeah,
on it, like how do you say, well, no, you can't do that? Or, how do you dictate like or decide when is okay? Because I don't think it's okay. I mean, we're talking about how it's mentally hard for us as adults to kind of navigate that. Like, and our brains are formed. You know,
yeah.
I don't think it's a good thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think I think it affects a lot of social skills as well. I've noticed with like a younger generation now, like their social skills in person that aren't. I'm not saying every person, but like there's something just not there. Um, like a fear of talking to a human in
Yeah.
person because everyone's lives are online now. It's all through text and messages and words that
Yeah.
you're typing out. It's nothing. It's not a physical conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I wish that I was doing this stuff in person. Obviously, you're in Scotland and I'm in Scranton, Pennsylvania, so this works, right? But like, there's no better way to communicate than face to face. But like you said, everything's text, everyone's hiding behind computers and all that kind of stuff. It's very weird, and I don't know, like, it's still too early to tell like what the results will be from children starting to use those platforms at an early age and things like that. So
No.
I'm not going to figure it out, but it's
Yeah,
scary.
it's almost going to be a different type of like breed of human.
Right?
That's we really want to look into that.
But I mean, from a band perspective, it enables you to like reach the entire world, which is cool.
It's a double edged sword.
Hmm.
Like for musicians and artists, like you have to do it. You have to be on it, and I think social media, I guess, is an art in itself when it comes to promoting music and promoting art. Like I think planning your sort of social media look or perception or plan should all tie in with your work, the music you create, the imagery, like. Um, but I feel like it's a total minefield, and no one quite knows how to win at it.
Yeah. 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 Well, let's talk about you have a tour coming up, right?
Yeah.
And when does that start?
Um, End of February.
End of February. Okay. So album comes out end of January. You go on tour. Um, do you plan on like where's this tour going to?
It's the UK and in Europe.
Okay. So you're not going to come to the US?
Not unless this run, unfortunately.
Are we not ready for you or what?
Well, we were in the States in May this year.
Okay.
That was our first headline tour. We co-headlined with Calva Louise, and it was an amazing experience. Like
How
it
did
really
how,
was
how did the US react to you?
amazing. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't, like I was so shocked at the numbers. Like the numbers and the it was such a similar experience to like our shows on a smaller scale in America, but like it was just such a similar energy of people. It just felt like Vukovi fans to me. Like they just it was such a I'll never forget it. It was an unforgettable experience, and for the first time, it was actually manageable. It was tough because we were recording the album at the same time, but I think mine and Hamish's mental health and health was really good during that whole stint. Like we really had our shit together, and we had a great time.
That's good. That's awesome. Well, I hope you'll come back soon.
I hope so too.
Um, as far as your stage presence and in some of the notes from your PR team, fashion was something that they had mentioned, and I saw some videos, even like the music videos you do. Um, I feel like you're really big into fashion because like when you're on stage, you're not wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah,
You're pretty. It looks awesome.
yeah.
So is that like very important to you?
Massively. I've always loved since I was a kid. Like my mum just let me wear what I wanted, and I've just always loved experiment with clothes. My mum was very like that as well, and her seeing her passion for fashion and the way that she would dress things up, and I've always it's just always been a passion of mine. Um, and yeah, I don't know, I don't really think about it. I just if I want, I'm just like I'm gonna wear this on stage. This is cool.
Yeah.
I don't overthink it too much.
That's kind of like art too, right? Like,
Yeah, it's just another way to express myself. Like I
mhm.
express myself through fashion, um, as well, and I love it. I love experiment with makeup, hair, everything.
Yeah, that's cool.
Um, yeah, we've got a really good team as well that do, our photo shoots and our videos, and um, who we love working with. They just get it. They are very similar tastes, and we're just a group of weirdos that love working together.
Who are some of your influences?
Musically,
Yeah.
um, there's so many. Like I think if you talking like from a young age, like definitely more pop.
Okay.
Like Christina Aguilera, Whitney Houston, George. My mum used to listen to like George Michael and
Hell yeah.
all of that stuff. My brother was right into NWA, Cypress Hill, Dre, Eminem.
Nice.
I love Gaga, but also when the hybrid theory came out, everything changed, and I
Okay.
was like, "Holy shit, this feels dangerous."
Yeah.
Um, and that was when I really and Evanescence. Like I'm obsessed with Emily, and the emotion that she would bring to her music and her records through not just her voice but piano and musically. I was obsessed. So
Yeah.
I can't have to give all of them credit. And um, now again I love I love Bring Me, like they're insane. Lady Gaga, as I said, I love Ethel Cain. Like there's just I listen to trance music as well. Faithless was my first concert when I was 14, and like we both immerse ourselves in music and soundtracks and gaming, and again it's just part of who we are, and I love it. Like I just I love creating, and I love being inspired. And it sounds kind of maybe I don't know if it is old fashioned. Like I just sometimes that's as simple. I just that's that's as simple as that for me.
Yeah. If you could tour with anyone, who would it be?
Um, God, it's hard.
No wish list? No wish list?
Oh well, there's a few. I would like to tour with. I really like Bill Murray. I think I would quite like to tour with. I mean, Lady Gaga is like the top. Like, who doesn't want to support Lady Gaga? Um, I think she likes a bit of metal.
I, yeah.
Um, and God, it's really hard. I like Sleep Token. I don't know what Sleep Token fans would be like with us, but like,
I feel like everyone I talk to always mentions Sleep Token. Like if I do one of these a week, and I feel like the last 10,
yeah,
I feel like at least half of them mention Sleep Token.
yeah, yeah, they're amazing. They're really good band.
I'm gonna
Good
ask you a
music.
question, and I hope it's not a stupid question. And maybe once I ask it, you'll be like, all right, we're done here. How the accent, how does it go away when you're singing?
I don't know.
Right? Uh,
I've never sung any differently. I never used to have a Scottish accent. I was actually born in England, and my first 6 years of my life was in Berlin. Um, so I had a very strong English slash German accent. I spoke German, but then when my mum moved back to Scotland, this is what happened. But I've never sung any differently. I just
Yeah.
it's quite shocking. Like when people don't know me and they come to see you sing, and then I start talking after a song, the folk are like, "What? Where the fuck are you from? Oh, you're American or something?"
I just find that fascinating. Like, I mean, there's so many artists who have accents, and
Honestly,
then
like I have tried. Like I could, there's I just can't sing Scottish. Like I just sing the way I sing. I did a lot of musical theatre and choirs when I was growing up, and I don't know. It's just the way I sing.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean, it's beautiful. You have a wonderful voice, and so your music is great. I was just very curious as to like if that's something that people try to do.
yeah, I think yeah, it's the opposite. I don't sing in a Scottish accent. I need to try to sing in a Scottish accent, and I
Right.
would probably cringe because I think I'd be not sound right.
Understood. Understood. So album comes out January, going on tour in February. Any big plans outside of those two big things?
Um, we've got some nice festivals. I think I'd like to do a B market tour at the end of next year, or we might go to the States. I don't know. Like we're we're sort of just taking a step at a time, and we're just going to see what happens. I think when we overthink things too much, we just spiral, and then the next thing you've spent 2 weeks worrying about something that might not happen, and I've not enjoyed any part of my life. Like I'm trying to be more present and appreciate my friends and my family, and just being in a better headspace and trying to manage my headspace to be like I can't think too much about the future because I'll overthink everything. But it's trying to have that balance. You know, you're trying
Yeah.
to run a business at the same time, and um, but also you want to. I want to enjoy my life at the same time and have a good and have a balance. Because you don't. I think it's really easy to exhaust yourself in this industry, and I think you know times time to breathe and have a bit of space, even if it's just 1 or 2 days. It's so needed.
Hmm.
You just end up resenting it, and I think you lose the passion. Um, and we don't want to lose that, but it's yeah, we're basically just seeing what happens. But there is stuff in the diary next year, and it's exciting. Everything we've got, and it sounds good. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Well, I'm excited for you guys. I mean, it's a great album. Um, Happy to have been able to hear it early.
I appreciate you listening to it.
If you weren't doing music, what would you be doing?
I actually could be in fashion.
Okay. I kind of
Yeah,
figured you were gonna say that.
yeah. Or I love painting. Like I
Right.
love. I'm not like I'm not this Michelangelo artist, but if like I've the absolute dream would be if I could just like paint a couple of like pieces a month and sell them, and then make music and enjoy my life. That would be the dream
Yeah.
and help people.
Well, I mean, you're doing that. You really are. So, I mean, that's awesome. It's awesome. Well, like I said, I wouldn't keep it too long. I appreciate your time. Best of luck with the new album.
Thank you.
Best of luck on tour. Come to the States ASAP, please.
I can't wait. Honestly, well, I hope we're back soon. Like there is some chat of it. So we had a wonderful time in the States, and I genuinely like, regardless of the political status right now, I seen such a sense of community of people scared but also strong, and a sense of community, and I just had a wonderful time. Like I
Yeah.
really did.
East Coast though. You gotta come on the East Coast.
We haven't done the East Coast yet, so that I'm sure that'll be
All
another
right.
experience.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
All right. Well, Janine, the band Vukovi, thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. And
thanks.
hopefully everything goes well and hopefully you'll be on the East Coast before you know it.
Amazing. Thank you. It was
All right.
nice to chat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.
Bye.